Kevin Sidebottom here, speaker, author, and trainer, and I go around the world and I teach sales organizations and leadership teams on how to grow trust and influence with their customers and their team members to generate better profits. Today, I'm going to talk to you about how to grow trust with your manager. That's right, we're going to flip the script. We're going to learn about them. We're going to answer the 3 questions that everybody asks at every interaction. We're going to learn how to address those, how to learn how to be intentional, and how to build trust there. We're also going to do something intentionally at least once a year to grow with them. And third, I'm going to teach you how to become a rock star almost overnight. Okay? Does that sound good? Well, let's get started. So we want to build trust with our manager. Typically in organizations, they have us fill out profiles about ourselves. We have the CRM systems that we actually put information into for our customers. Well, why not do that for our managers? They're probably doing it for us, and if you listen to any of my videos, they are doing it for you. We need to be intentional about learning about who we engage because they're asking 3 questions. Do I like you? Do I trust you? And how can you help me? And now we're not going to hit it out of the park every single time, but we need to be intentional about learning about people. And the first question, do I like you? Well, there's a lot that goes into it that most people don't recognize. The different environments we're in that can affect the situation and how people like us. If it's a stressful environment, typically people will not trust us as much because they'll associate the stressful situation with us. Simple. So we need to be more relaxed. I mean, go think about when you went to a therapist and sat down. Their rooms are quiet, the lighting's low, they're just asking questions, and it's a calm environment. Typically you walk out of there and go, I feel great. Well, that's because they set the tone. We need to know what the environment looks like. Our different color clothes actually affect us. Yeah, that's right. And the perfumes we wear and the sounds, they also affect us. If you've ever been in a department store, you'll know in the ladies' department, they have different music, different scents, different lighting than they do in the men's department. There's a reason why. Now, unfortunately, we don't have a crystal ball that we can use to help identify everything. We haven't done personality tests on everybody to understand everything. We can have a good idea, and typically in sales, we've learned how to do that a little bit. But again, like the scents, there is really no way to really understand if a scent's going to turn someone off or engage them. So we need to be cognizant of those things, which is why I typically don't wear any kind of cologne when I'm meeting with customers. I make sure I shower and I smell clean, but I'm not going to sit there and really wear different kind of cologne unless I'm out with my wife. And she's only got a couple that she really likes, and that's all I'll wear when we go out. Now, we need to be engaging. We don't have this crystal ball, so how do we build trust? Well, we need to understand where we are and who that person is. So we have to be intentionally engaging them to understand what it is they like. What are their interests? What are their hobbies? Do they have kids? Are they married? Or do they have a significant other? What are some key dates for them? What are their dreams? What are their aspirations? You know, in big business, they typically do the annual review. One of the questions is, where do you want to be in 5 years? Well, if you're already going through this and learning about your manager by writing down, hey, where do they want to be? What are they looking to do? What are their hobbies? You're going to actually be able to answer that third question, how can you help them? Because they want to know that too, whether it's just performance or if you're trying to engage them to help them grow in something that they're struggling with because they shared it with you. We want to be engaging people. So I recommend using a CRM. Typically what I do is I actually have a piece of paper, and when I'm talking with people, I'm taking notes. And I ask them, is it okay if I take notes? Most of the time the people will say, yeah, absolutely. And they'll lean in because they'll be more engaged because they're going, wow, this person's actually interested in me. They want to learn about me. Relationships grow. Trust grows. Now, we've gotten our little CRM going. We're learning about people. We're constantly learning about people. We jump into once a year, we actually need to be doing some kind of training together. Some learning experiment or training that we can do to build trust levels. And that can be someone coming in from outside of our organization to come train us and teach us a new tip or trick that we can put in the toolbox. Or you go out and do like Operation Adventures. Or you go and do something else like an escape room where people are actually having to collaborate, work together. With our managers, we need to be engaging them on these kind of trainings. And then afterwards, we don't just leave. We actually engage them, talk to them, and debrief. What's a debrief? Well, the debrief is basically going, okay, what did we learn? What can we apply? What are some tips and tricks you learned? And everybody kind of talks about those things, and everybody gets a little spin and go, wow, you know what? I didn't really think about that. That's a good thing. We focus on what positives we can take away, not the negatives. Okay? Now, here's the other thing. When we do this, we want to make sure we're doing these debriefs for the reason of learning from each other. Yeah, Navy SEALs do this. They go and practice a mission so many times, and then they do a debrief, and then they go back and practice more. So by the time they hit that mission, they're doing stuff without even having to think about it, and they're so efficient. That's why they're so successful, is because they do this practice and debrief. We need to do it with our teams. We need to do a learning experiment or a training every year with our teams. Do the debrief. It will help us. Okay? Now, let's talk about how you become a rock star. That's right. Everybody wants to be a rock star. Everybody likes the glory. Typically, especially in sales, people will go off and cast a vision and say, here's what's going to happen, and we're going to hit it by this date. Well, that date comes and goes. The objective's missed, and they fail. Well, trust goes down when we do that. How do we mitigate that? Well, here's what I've learned when I was in a program management role. There's these things called float. The basic principle is, if it takes you about a week to do something, add some float, some extra buffer. Not to be ultra conservative and never commit to anything, but you add a little bit of float because things take time. Some hiccups happen. You add this float in there, and typically you'll hit those dates. Maybe not at the very beginning, but you'll get a good idea and you'll hit those dates. What happens is, well, now trust goes up because you're trustworthy because you're hitting your targets. But what happens if you actually hit this target that's a little further in? Well, you've overachieved and undercommitted. That's right. You actually do this enough, you're a rock star. And everybody looks at you and goes, wow, that person is fantastic. I want to learn from them and grow with them. For your manager, you keep doing that, undercommitting and overproducing, you're going to be a rock star to them. You're going to grow the relationship. They're going to trust you with more. I hope that was helpful. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I got ways to get in touch with me below in this video. If you like this video and it's helpful, hey, hit like, share, subscribe to all my other videos. Give it out to other people you think might add value. That's what I do these videos for, is to help people. All right? We'll see you next time.